we go. And we're live at Expert35. I'm your host, Gabriel Garcia, and as promised, bringing you experts from 35 different industries, talking about the challenges, the hardship, and the opportunities. And today we're talking about opportunities. We're talking about 2021 social media strategies, how to benefit from your brand, how to benefit from all the platforms, and nobody better bring than Meghan Ruger, social media guru. Meghan, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Gabe.
So good to having you. We've known each other for, man, I think a decade now, which is crazy, and love knowing that you're like where your career is going. But just kind of give somebody a little bit of some background where you're coming from. But before you jump in there, hold on. You can text Expert35 to join us on the air, ask more questions. We're looking for other experts in different industries, and if you want to learn more about Meghan and have her manage your social media, she's Expert70, and you'll get in touch with Meghan Ruger. So Meghan, go for it. Tell us how you got into all of this.
So and after I danced for a few years, I was like, I would really like to learn maybe some more business side of things. So I went to Bauer at the University of Houston, and I got my marketing degree. I enjoyed learning about like the why people buy things and why people do the certain sales funnel process that they do. And marketing is really like an art. So I think it related back to my dance experience. It's really an art of like selling and knowing how to sell and like combining those two. So then after graduation, I got a job at a finance firm, and that was super fun. It was a lot of not the type of creative people I wanted to be around. So I left there and I worked at an agency, and now I'm working with Deco Digital. They're fabulous. They make healthcare really fun. We do awesome campaigns that I think make people smile and make people laugh, especially in an industry where, if you're talking to someone on the, hospital's social media channel, it's because something is up and you need some assistance. And we're able to get that communication now between the consumer and the business through social media. And I think that that's so cool also because growing up in, as I'm 30 almost. So growing up, we were always on social media. We were always on MySpace, Instagram, whatever. So just your daily life really did kind of train me for what I'm doing now, which is why I understand it and why I'm so good at it.
That's awesome. So Meghan, give us a little bit of a rundown of what are you seeing 21? What are the trends for 2021? What should we do about it?
So the trends for 2021 are going to be video. We are seeing a lot of TikTok coming out, which is awesome. It's fast ways for people to get information. It's fast ways for younger people to get information that they need. And I think just in, kind of like the whole political world, people were able to kind of connect and see what they needed. And that is a facet in multiple different industries. You want to know how to do makeup, video. We've switched from kind of YouTube and we've gone to these shorter things. You're going to find that on Instagram. And also kind of managing your time better. Now that we do have all of these platforms that you could be on everything, but you would never be able to effectively manage all of those platforms and get your brand, staying true to your brand across all those platforms, talking to your consumers and really retaining your management. It's just too much. So taking the time to kind of audit those social channels is another trend that I'm going to see a lot of in 2021.
Jennifer's got a great question. She says, there are so many options. Where do I start?
There are. And I'm going to say, look at your business goals. Look at your target audience. If your target audience is really young, 20, 30-year-olds, like maybe you have a new nail polish, that company that you're trying to do, Instagram, TikTok, like these fun, fast social channels are going to be where you want to go. But if your business is more geared to, someone 30, 40, 50, you're going to want to stay in Facebook. And also depending on what are you selling something? Are you selling a product? Are you selling a service? Facebook has a lot of integrations to kind of buy on there. They almost have like an e-commerce. So it just makes it easier. So I would say start on Facebook, and then maybe go into Instagram, because they do relate really well. When you create a Facebook business page, you can easily create a Facebook Instagram. And so being able to, again, staying true to that brand across both platforms is going to be what you want to do. But then also make sure that you're not posting the same thing on each platform. Why would I want to follow your Instagram? Yeah, if I'm following your Instagram and I see the same thing on Facebook, for a business, we're kind of like, wow, that was a lot. You know, when it's our aunt or our cousin and we see baby Julia on Facebook and then we see baby Julia on Instagram, cool, we love baby Julia. But when it's your flower bouquet that you're trying to sell on Facebook and then I see it on Instagram, it's kind of like, what the heck, you know? You don't have other flowers that we could show, or, you know, kind of do what is good for that platform.
Right. And Greg's got another great question too, is like, how much should I post? How many posts per day, or, you know, how do I start with traction? And also speak towards LinkedIn. We have a lot of clients that are they feel like more professional. They feel just more comfortable on LinkedIn as well. So if there's rules for that as well, that'd be a good pointer.
Definitely. So I like to think of the lifetime of what you're posting. A Twitter post, for example, is going to live like an hour, maybe 2 hours if it's a really good post. It's a fast environment. It's like the cafeteria. We're getting in, we're getting out, we're getting our lunch, and we're going back to what we need to do. LinkedIn is more like the golf course of the social media world. You're kind of like leisurely, very professional. We all have our headshots. LinkedIn has come really far in the past, 2 years. You can post stories now. And if you're a business LinkedIn, you can directly message people, but it's going to come from your personal LinkedIn, not your business LinkedIn. So that makes me kind of want to shed some light on your personal LinkedIn, and making sure that you have a cover photo, that your headshot, I'm going to be not drinking my own Kool-Aid here because my headshot is not up to date. It's like 2-3 years old, but making sure your headshot's up to date. If you are, I'm not a business and I am not, currently updating my LinkedIn, but that's, when you asked for my headshot, I was like, dang, I never thought I was going to be the person that has an old headshot, but that's me now. But just making sure all those platforms are up to date. Going back to how many times is going to be LinkedIn, like, don't post on the weekend. Like, no one's on LinkedIn on the weekend, really, unless you're like a realtor or your business really thrives on the weekend. So maybe 3 times a week if you're a business on LinkedIn and your business really lives on LinkedIn. Facebook, go wild, like post good, you can do motivational Mondays. You could do, if you have a, construction business, throwback Thursdays to old projects, like that relates across Instagram too. Those really hashtag heavy things. They are awesome posts, and you can post on Facebook like every day. You can post on Facebook multiple times a day. Instagram is kind of, draw it back maybe once a day. So again, after if you start posting now, take a month, and look at what's getting traction, what's serving you, what's serving your business. Are people liking this? Are people not liking this? And then if you're posting too much, draw it back. Maybe you have too much content and you're flooding it a little bit. So, look at the channel, but also look at what people are looking at on your channels.
Right. What's catching traction? Jennifer's got a great question. This is like, I would imagine you probably have an answer for different platforms and the type of content, but what's the ideal video length? What's your attention span looking like in 2021?
Well, depending again on what channel you're uploading, they all have different criterias for how long it needs to be, how much, data is in there. If it's a Facebook video, how much text is in there. So make sure you're reading those guidelines on when you're uploading video. But the best advice that I could say for a video is that the first 3 seconds, like, get their attention. The first 5 seconds, get their attention. if we're scrolling and you don't get our attention in 5 seconds at the max, like, bye, we're on to the next person, because it's almost just like autopilot. We're just do 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 do.
Mhm.
So you gotta like get something catchy. One campaign that we just ran for a client is human kindness, and in leaving things behind in 2020 and kind of going into 2021 with a light of excitement and happiness and a smile. And even though we got to cover, just knowing that we are here for each other. And we have this one ad. It's a football player, and he's running, and he is a football player that wouldn't necessarily be a football player. He has, some kind of special, issue, and they help him get across the field, and he makes a touchdown. And oh my gosh, the feedback on this is insane. Like, people love it. They love seeing good stuff, especially after the, pandemic that we're still in. Like, we want to share good lighted stuff. So if that video is something cute, a baby, a little dance,
Puppies.
ducks, like whatever,
So,
like get attention in that 5 seconds.
and that's also important. Like, one of the things we do, and I'm going to put myself back on video, even though I'm remote, I'm on satellite, my video is probably really choppy, and I've got my name over my face. There we go. So one of the things that we do when we start is I always put, like Meghan, you were on the air as soon as we started, because that shows differentiation. That shows there's going to be some sort of a communication, shows that tension. And I think that's made our post better. Before, we used to have a picture, and it was always Expert35, and it was a terrible way to start our videos.
Yeah.
So we've learned that this interaction, and for instance, this platform, the fact that it's live, right? So can you speak towards going live versus like a perfect production, and having maybe the fact that things don't work all the time, and like how good that is, or how negative that can be?
Right. Yes. It is, especially when we're trying to automate things, it can get very technical. The system can break, like sprinkler might go down. It might just not happen
Mhm.
for you. But in a small business world, if you were like, say, a flower shop, and you went to a, flower festival, and you were live at that flower festival, because of where you are, the hashtags that you're going to use, the people that already follow your page, and where you currently are doing the live, that is going to be a golden opportunity for you, just to get the traction. Like, the algorithms of the Google crawlers of everything is gonna put that into people's view. And then that's really what you want to do when you're doing these live videos. You don't want to be walking down the street on live where it's just like not relatable to your brand, and it's not like coming full circle. So
Right.
if you're walking down the street and maybe you see your neighbors have a beautiful flower and you're a flower shop, you can go live and say, look at these beautiful flowers. This is, the white rose of, wherever. So I think it's like making sure, again, staying true to your brand and making it come full circle, making it make sense. We
Right.
can do a lot of live things, and sometimes it's just like, why am I watching this? Again, is the 5 seconds that I've watched this, has it served me as a consumer? Am I learning something? Is it giving me value? If it's just,
Right.
but entertainment is also a value. So don't dismiss like selling an entertaining thing. If you are out and you see something cool, definitely go live. But yeah.
I'm going to speak to Jennifer. Jennifer's got a great question. How important is audio? And we're kind of victims of this. We're on the satellite, we're remote, we're trying to get our audio to work. I'm wearing a headset. Audio is really important for certain types of pieces, but even this Expert35, we know that most people watch it muted. And so we make sure we put the subtitles and make sure everything that you're saying, you enunciate properly. But if you've got the opportunity to put in text, just like we do, we scroll text, and now I'm going to say social media 2021, so somebody can understand what's happening. Give me your 2 cents on audio, so Jennifer can hear from the expert.
So the first media, advertise and plan for that ad. If it has audio, advertise and plan for it to not have audio. Because a lot of times we're scrolling and like we don't have our audio on. So when we're making ads, we want to just kind of assume that if the audio is off, the ad is still going to make sense. And if the audio is on, like, woo, even better. My second sense is going to be you don't want to discriminate. You know, maybe someone doesn't have great hearing. Maybe we are advertising to an older crowd. You know, if you're advertising scooters and your target market is like 70-year-old people, they might not hear it if their audio is on. So you don't want to discriminate against anyone if they don't have audio capability.
Here's a great question. Kristen's asking that she wants to go live at her facility and on her website. Any advice on equipment? Would you speak towards using your phone or like using more professional equipment?
So if you spend money on good stuff, you're going to have higher quality things for sure. I think one major thing, I don't really have any awesome equipment. I think Gabe would be a really good person to ask this because you have the coolest tools actually.
You know, I mean, yes, it does help to, if you're going to pre-record, going live, actually, this is something, I'll show it to you because I'm live on my computer. Meghan, you're live on your computer as well, right?
I am.
If you go live on your phone has a processor for the camera. So a lot of times your camera phone, if you have an iPhone, if you have a newer phone, Android or iPhone, you will get better quality. It'll process better, it won't glitch as much, and it'll look smoother. But if you're actually walking, like Meghan said, if you're doing a whole shoot, there's a great number of tools. I'll put some on there on the notes. I'll talk about like the Mevo, or I'll talk about the DJI. DJI, like the same people that make the drones, they make a handheld camera. The same camera that's on the drone you can hold in your hand, and it's amazing for like a shoot that walks you through a facility and shows you stuff, but the audio isn't going to be as good. So a lot of times you want to record the audio separate. So Kristen, great question. I'm happy to kind of pop some ideas on there. Obviously, look, this is what happens when you use a computer and satellite. You know, it's probably going to sound a little choppy. It's going to be a little broken. If I move too much, I'm trying to not move a lot because it will all take up bandwidth. So work on that. Meghan, I would love to talk a little bit about some of the tools that people can use to automate, right, their process, because obviously if we're posting a couple times a day, if we have 20 different social media platforms, what do you recommend as we scale up or depending on the size of the business?
So starting at the little bottom step, Facebook has been revising their scheduling and all of their posts. I'm forgetting what it's called right now. It's like Facebook. I guess it's like Business Manager. They've been redoing it.
Business Manager, yep.
Business Manager, yeah. So it's a process, and that one is free, so that's awesome. And you can see all your posts. It's Facebook only. Instagram scheduling has been like, it's been so frustrating for a lot of years. But now with scheduling systems, kind of like going up to the next level, we're able to schedule multiple things. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest on something like super simple like Hootsuite. It's cheap. So if you're a smaller business and you're just starting out and you want to make sure that you have a whole calendar view of like what's going out each day, you know what's going on, you did your calendar planning, you understand and you have everything scheduled and planned, and it's just for your few channels, Hootsuite's the way to go. If you're managing something like a freelancer and you have multiple clients that have multiple pages. So, you know, I have this one client who has Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok. This other client who has LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Another client who has another 5 things. Once you start building that up, you're going to need a lot more bandwidth. You're going to need something that's a little bit more advanced, something that you can maybe see your competitors. What are my competitors doing? What's some data that I can pull so I can compare what's happening last month to this month? How many followers have I lost? How many followers have I gained? What's my response rate? Going up the next stair, that's going to be like something like Sprout Social, where it's going to give you a little bit more data and a little bit more depth into what you're looking at when you have a lot of channels that you want to control. And then if you are the big mambo jumbo agency and you have clients that have multiple things, like kind of what I work with is Sprinkler, and that is a huge learning curve. It is the big mama of, I think, any kind of automation, but it's awesome because you can see everything, you can listen. I think one thing, if you're a brand and you're not getting any traction, you're like, no one's tagging me, I don't understand, I'm not getting anything, they might be tagging you wrong. And Sprinkler does a good job of being able to see those tags, be like, they, tagged you as this, but it's really this, but we're listening and we kind of heard that we thought this might be you. So you're able to see more things and catch more things the more that you spend and the higher you go on that, staircase. Again, mind you, each platform has its own like volume. So when you sign up for Hootsuite, you can for X amount of channels, the basic package, or you can go to the next package, which is going to be more channels with different things. And you can add teammates. So if you have someone working remote and you want to give them their own login, so they're not messing with your stuff, and you can see who's doing what, you can add teammates and stuff. So that's another thing. If you have like an intern that you're trying to help, get along. Hootsuite also has awesome learning, training. They're amazing. I think Hootsuite's awesome. So I would say start with Hootsuite, and then if you're like, I want more, then crawl up that ladder.
Here we got a question from LinkedIn. For solopreneurs, how much time should we invest in having proper social media presence? So how do you value that time and that ROI? What would you say?
I would say do a social media audit on your channels and really look at like what is serving you and time yourself. Like we don't understand how much time we waste on social media. You can look in your phone and kind of look at your screen time, and it breaks it down by different channels. And I'm like, whoa, when I look at mine, because that's also my job. I'm like, I can't believe I spent that much time doing that. Yeah, being able to know where you're spending your time, is it serving you? And then like, if it's not, pay someone else to do it. If it's bringing you high returns and it's giving you high pleasure in your job, do it yourself. But if you're like, I hate scheduling and I don't like reading what these people have to say, if someone could just read it for me and come up with a response, then, especially because business owners, sometimes we take things personally. I wouldn't take my dog to eat here. We're like, what? That's our, this is my restaurant, my baby that I've, kind of like grown from the bottom up. And you're saying you wouldn't even take your dog here. Take the personal stuff out of it. This is just someone, they don't know you. They're not coming at you personally. But a lot of times when you are doing those things, it's nice to have someone else. If it's not giving you a lot of pleasure, you don't like doing it, pay someone to do it. Pay someone to manage your reputation. Pay someone to check your social media. Pay someone to respond to those things, because they're going to take the personal side out of it and they're going to respond on a really like professional level. So see what's serving you. And if it's not, either see if it's worth it or get someone else to do it for you.
Yeah. And I think the hardest thing is we got to think about people. When you start out, you're not going to necessarily get traction unless you hit a home run, right? So it does take a little bit of time. So maybe, for the solopreneurs out there, is start posting, start, creating some content, but really create a strategy. Listen to Meghan's idea of like audit yourself and create a strategy, because that will pay it back in itself. This isn't like pay-per-click. This isn't like you throw something out there and it's not sales, right? So how would you, encourage someone before they start paying for it, right? To like maybe pay for the audit, right? Like that audit process, how would that work with somebody like you to do an audit and help them know what they should do if they don't do any social media yet?
If you don't have any social media yet, I don't have anything to audit, but I doubt that you don't have anything. At least you have your own. So that's a good place to start. Are you using your own personal Facebook page as your business page? Oh my God, don't do that. So that would be kind of the first place I would start. Make your own business page, and you have to have a personal Facebook page to make that business page. So that would be kind of the first place to start. But if you have something and you are posting and you are on different things, I would look at what are you on, how many times a day are you posting, what time of day are the posts that you're posting getting traction, what posts are you posting that are getting traction, are you posting valuable content, do you have a call to action of to where I can go next. You know, if you're a dog breeder, like, do you have a link to where I can see the next thing? What do you want me to do? You know, if you're posting, you know, say you're posting this one dog is the dad and this other dog is the mom, like, where can I go to maybe learn on your website a blog about breeding or about what type of, you know, dog that is, or what type of like coat they have, and what's the diet, like what could the potentials of their baby, you know, their puppies look like. So kind of just blogs are so easy and there's such clickbait, and as long as you can just kind of make it explainable, you know, you have, and they're not long. You write like, you know, a paragraph and a paragraph and a paragraph, and then you have a blog, ta-da, or a video. These videos coming up.
Meghan, great info, great nuggets. My favorite part of the show. In your expert opinion, 3 things we should start doing right now.
Right now, take a look at your social channels and audit them. Take off what's not serving you and invest in what is. Invest in where your target audience is and where they are on social media. 2, audit your social posts. If no one is liking like what you're posting, change it up, like post something else. We are all tired of that Bernie Sanders post. So y'all post something else. And then, yeah, stay true to your brand. Think about your strategy. Think about those goals, about, you know, what you want to see, and then post those things that are important. If, you know, that Bernie, that's the meme I'm talking about, that Bernie Sanders meme. Like, if that serves, post it. But if it doesn't, don't post it. I saw like these Girl Scouts, like last chance, and it was a Girl Scout cookie with that. And I was like, that was funny. But if it doesn't serve your business, don't post it. Like, it might be trending, but if it doesn't make sense, just stay away from it, you know?
Right. So good advice. So good having you. Meghan, so great seeing you, even though it's over like from 1,000 miles away.
Yes, me too. It's always fun talking to you, Gabe.
Thank you for being on the show. We're going to let you go and answer questions. There's a lot more questions. People are asking, you know, how do we engage with social media versus posting? So we're going to let you go on the chat and answer all those questions. But again, so good having you. And please put the notes to Hootsuite and all the different platforms, because I think they're really going to be really helpful for people to understand. And I'll put the notes about the video cameras as well. But would love to have you back on a do's and don'ts. We need to do a do's and don'ts of social media and just show examples. That would be super fun. So I'm going to schedule you back for one of those. All right, Meghan?
Awesome.
All right, guys. Meghan, thank you so much for being with us. That was Meghan Ruger. With, if you want to get in touch with her, text Expert70. We'd love to learn more about. Show us some of the stuff, do's and don'ts. Post them on there. She'll comment. I'm sure she'll be happy to show and put her 5 cents on what's good and what's not. Again, I'm your host, Expert35. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
We educate during difficult times. We collaborate at Expert35. This is for a better tomorrow and a better today. Let's come together, and together we will find a way. You got questions, we got solutions. You got problems, we got resolutions. Visit Expert35.com. No need to worry, just remain calm.